Welcome to the Cosmic Hypothesis channel, where fierce, dramatic, and full of surprise sci-fi stories come to life. If you're a fan of epic space battles and life-or-death clashes between alien civilizations, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of this series. Today, we're diving into a story where thousands of years of peace are shattered by a cold, chilling laugh. And the biggest surprise? Watch till the end to uncover a twist no one saw coming, one that could change the fate of the entire universe. Ready? Let's get started. 10,000 years of peace across the galaxy, an era when the name Kion was spoken with absolute reverence, an empire spanning dozens of galaxies, with a mighty space fleet and countless legions. It was a time when war was just a fairy tale, for no one dared to challenge their power. Yet in the seemingly calmest moment, the veil of silence was torn apart by a cold message: declaration of war. Commander Zorak stood atop the command tower, his four sharp eyes blinking rapidly, revealing an unprecedented state of agitation. His silver hair swept over his shoulders, the light from the screens reflecting off his ceremonial armor gleaming under the cold artificial lights. "Admiral Tessa Monroe," a voice came through the screen, calm but filled with defiance. A woman with short chestnut hair and deep ocean blue eyes, she was the supreme commander of the Earth Defense Forces. "We refuse to grant you exclusive rights to mine the frozen rock at the edge of our solar system," her voice emphasized, not hiding the confident smirk beneath her words. Zorak felt his heart pound. The insult filled every fiber beneath his armor. This was no ordinary disrespect, it was a public challenge, a humiliation from a species they once regarded as insignificant. "We are the Kion Empire," he roared, his voice echoing through the command room. "We have conquered 12 galaxies. Our warships can turn a planet's surface into lava. Our armies number in the trillions. The 1,000-year peace treaty signed by your ancestors has expired. We choose not to renew it." And then a laugh echoed. Not a fearful laugh, nor a fake one. It was the laugh of dangerous confidence from a species that did not take their enemy seriously. "We have been observing you for 1,000 years, Admiral Monroe continued in the recording. "We have studied every move, every tactic of yours. The treaty wasn't to protect us, it was to protect you." The Imperial command bridge fell silent. Officers exchanged glances, their eyes reflecting doubt and terror. "That is no humility," whispered Science Officer Krell. "They don't plead. They don't fear. They're laughing." Director Lurer explained. Zorak's face hardened. "Why aren't they afraid? Why don't they beg? Why?" Director of Intelligence Lurar, a tall, gaunt figure with a hoarse voice, stepped forward. "Our understanding of humans is very limited, Commander. The treaty forbids direct observation. Only remote surveillance is allowed. We knew they were primitive when we first encountered them, barely reaching spaceflight," she continued, her voice tinged with astonishment. "Their weapons were chemical-based, and they even used knives and sutures to repair their bodies. But now..." Zorak ground his teeth, filled with rage and suspicion. "We don't know how much they have advanced. In 1,000 years? Impossible. Perhaps we should send a scouting ship before ordering a full-scale invasion," interrupted Admiral Dex, her face anxious, small tentacles on her face writhing as if sensing the impending danger. "No," Zorak thundered, rising to his full height of 3.6 meters. "We are Kion. We do not scout. We conquer." His roar echoed through the command deck, triggering chaos and mobilization for the upcoming war, a war that might not only be about technology, but also about psychology and survival. Yet inside Zorak, for the first time in 3 centuries, an unnameable feeling began to spread, a chilling shiver down his spine. As the echoes of the declaration of war had yet to fade, the cold lights in the command room continued to cast somber shadows on the troubled faces, eyes betraying the chaos within. Zorak sat down, bowed his head briefly, then fixed his sharp gaze on the advanced screen where Admiral Tessa Monroe appeared vividly, as if standing right before him. She was not only the enemy of his empire, but also the symbol of a future Zorak had never imagined. You, Monroe's voice rang out, calm yet sharp, are the invaders of the galaxy, but we, the humans of Earth, are those who have never known submission. She was not bluffing. Before Zorak's eyes, detailed data and images were displayed one after another. Compact, yet astonishingly agile starships, battle tactics unlike any he had ever seen in any empire, and especially the near-perfect automation of the swarm fleet, unmanned ships moving like a swarm of insects, weaving through gunfire, perfectly synchronized with each other. Director Lurar spoke up, "Commander, we are facing a civilization completely different in psychology and tactics. It's not that they lack weapons, but that they possess a power beyond our imagination. We overwhelm them in numbers," Zorak growled, "but they have flexibility and creativity. They use AI as a weapon, and their technology, it is a mystery." Krell, the science officer with cold eyes, added, "They can shift the phase of matter. Their ships can exist in multiple states, rendering our defense systems useless." A heavy sigh came through the comms from Admiral Monroe. "We are not the losers in this universe. Short lifespans, boundless curiosity, and an almost non-existent fear of death make us stronger than any civilization." Those words stabbed directly into the pride of Zorak and his officers. They were not just confronting an external enemy, but facing a painful truth. Complacency had blinded them. "Those psychological traits," Lurar continued, "make their behavior unpredictable, even dangerous. They do not fear death. They fight as if they are immortal. And that, Commander, is their greatest weapon." Zorak clenched his fists, muscles twitching with suppressed rage. Yet deep down, he knew this battle was not one to be won by strength and numbers alone. "We will not underestimate them," he said, his voice cold as steel. "We will learn, understand, and we will prevail." But the officers around him, with restless and sometimes anxious eyes, knew this war was not merely about weapons. It was a battle of will, psychology, and a civilization destined to be forever changed. The battle began without warning. The alert systems on the Kian Empire's command bridge flashed relentlessly, alarms roaring like thunder, echoing through the cold void of space. Zorak stood up, his voice a growl, reassuring his officers, "This will be a swift and glorious conquest. Show them the might of Kian." The colossal fleet of over 100,000 capital warships fired in unison. Plasma energy weapons blazed, illuminating the emptiness like destructive lightning bolts. Millions of red and blue sparks streaked through space, turning the cosmic sky into the stage for a grand catastrophe. But then something strange happened. The tiny human ships were not destroyed. Instead, they moved with astonishing agility. They dodged with masterful grace, twisting and spinning along unpredictable paths. "They're not just dodging," an officer shouted. "They're dancing." The automated AI ships called the Swarm reacted almost instantly to every attack, executing combat simulations honed over 9 centuries. They were precise, ruthless, and not a single one was hit. Then, even more unexpectedly, a small group of human ships, only about 1,000 among billions, broke formation and accelerated straight into the Kian fleet. They were so small they might have been overlooked, yet, like deadly arrows, they pierced through the thick armor of 20 Imperial capital ships. Within seconds, those massive vessels disintegrated at the molecular level, dissolving into atomic clouds. The entire command bridge of an Imperial ship fell silent, horror etched on every officer's face. "Unbelievable," Krell whispered. "This is technology beyond explanation." Admiral Monroe appeared on the screen, calmly explaining, "We have studied quantum mechanics and developed phase-shifting technology. This allows our ships to temporarily exist between different states of matter, bypassing all defense systems." Zorak slumped down, his heart pounding with a mix of rage and dread. He understood that the Empire was facing a challenge far beyond any conquest before. The war had only just begun, and it was not merely a contest of numbers or brute strength. This was a battle of evolution, intelligence, and the madness of a fearless species. The atmosphere on the Kian Empire's command bridge grew suffocatingly tense. The atomic disintegration of countless colossal warships within minutes shattered the Empire's pride like a fragile paper tower. Commander Zorak, undefeated for 3 centuries of conquest, now stood in deep contemplation, his face darkened by the weight of pressure and an indescribable humiliation. "Retreat," he ordered, his voice no longer triumphant, but cold and heavy with profound disappointment. The Kian fleet turned course, withdrawing from the Sol system, a territory they had once deemed an inevitable battlefield of victory. But not all accepted this decision easily. Senior officers gathered in the council chamber, where bitter truths were laid bare under cold lights and glaring eyes. Vexar, the council's head advisor, stared intently at Zorak. "Commander, this failure is unacceptable. The Empire cannot allow arrogance and complacency to lead us to the brink of destruction." "We were wrong," Zorak admitted, his tone heavy yet resolute. "But this failure is not the end. I propose a new path forward." Dr. Jackson Webb, recently appointed to the council, stepped forward. A simple man with dark skin and penetrating eyes, he spoke with the confidence of one who knew his authority. "We cannot continue down the old path. Scientific and technological advancement must become our top priority." His words sparked turmoil within the council, dividing them between those who wanted to continue conquest and those calling for reform and cooperation. "Conquest is not everything," Webb continued, "especially when we face threats far beyond this empire." Zorak stood, eyes blazing. "If we do not change, we will perish, and I am willing to take full responsibility for this choice." Silence fell over the room, the solemn gazes reflecting the deepest unease the Empire had ever experienced in millennia. The council meeting ended not with a decision, but with a vow for a new era, an era of upheaval, conflict, and unprecedented challenges. The tense atmosphere still lingered in the Kian Empire's council chamber. Suspicious and uneasy eyes turned toward Dr. Jackson Webb, the lone figure caught between the traditions of conquest and an uncertain future. Webb wore no uniform, only simple, earth-toned clothes, yet every word he spoke carried the weight of confidence and authority. "Kian Empire, ladies and gentlemen," his voice rang out, cold and smooth. "We, the humans of Earth, are not merely your enemies. We are potential partners, allies in a battle far greater than any you have ever known." The Imperial officers frowned softly. "A greater battle?" one general exclaimed. "Exactly," Webb continued. "Beyond the star systems you have conquered lie dark regions of the universe where the laws of physics warp, where light and matter behave strangely, where unimaginable threats await." He produced a small device emitting a faint blue glow, a data crystal containing the entire history of human science and technology. "We do not merely propose peace," Webb said, "but a covenant of scientific cooperation, cultural exchange, and joint preparation against these dangers. But this alliance comes with a condition. You must abandon your ambitions of conquest and focus on developing defensive technology." Zorak fell silent, sensing a threat not only from their adversaries but also from within his own empire. "Is there anyone among you willing to forsake a glorious past and step into an unprecedented era?" Webb asked, his eyes fixed on each individual. A fiery debate erupted. One side called it surrender, cowardice. The other saw it as the only path to survival and evolution. Monroe appeared via video transmission, smiling coldly. "We have proven our superiority, but the future does not belong to the arrogant." Zorak turned to the council, his voice deep and commanding. "This is not just a choice for the Empire, it is a choice for our very survival." The council fell silent. Their eyes gradually softened into deep contemplation, for they knew the true battle had only just begun, the battle to shape the fate of the entire universe. Zorak sat silently in the council chamber, his eyes fixed on the small crystal glowing with a soft blue light, a symbol of millennia of human knowledge. For the first time in his life, the great commander of the Kian Empire did not look at his enemy with hostility, but with curiosity, wonder, and perhaps a faint glimmer of hope. "We have stood on the peak of glory for too long," he thought quietly, "too complacent and stagnant. But maybe, from now on, things will be different." The council remained divided, yet confrontation gave way to consensus. A new era not of endless war, but of learning, cooperation, and facing the common threats lurking out there. Webb nodded, his eyes shining brightly with conviction. The future does not belong to those afraid of change. It belongs to those who dare to step forward into the darkness. Zorak stood, his voice firmer than ever. "We will not forget the past, but we will not let it bind our future. The Kian Empire will learn, evolve, and become the ally this universe needs." Within him, a new flame ignited, the flame of survival, transformation, and the yearning to surpass oneself. Outside, the vast universe continued to turn, and the true battle, the battle for existence and growth, had only just begun. Thank you so much for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment to share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next thrilling stories coming your way. I look forward to joining you on more intense, brutal, yet incredibly exciting sci-fi adventures. See you in the next video. Stay tuned and keep your spirit alive.